In 1978, the Ironman World Championship was born, but it was on a different island on Oahu. Now the Big Island is the home to the Ironman World Championship, brought to you by Amazon. I am Greg Welch, joined by Paula Newby-Fraser.
Good morning, Greg, and welcome to everybody to the 2018 Ironman World Championship, brought to you by Amazon. We are getting ready for a big day, 40 years of dreams, as we celebrate the 40th anniversary here on the Big Island.
Just having a flyover of the Big Island of Hawaii, but body marking is the order right now. We see our athletes just checking in. Susie Cheatham from the UK. As they get their bodies marked, they head on over to transition area after that to prepare for their biggest day.
The morning starts early as we see our defending champion, Daniela Reef from Switzerland. She's been through her body marking, number F1, just pumping tires, getting her nutrition set for their big day out here on Hawaii.
Here we go now. It is time to have a look at our swim course, brought to you by Roka. Elongated rectangle out there, 2.4 miles the distance. Out onto the bike course, a short 8 miles inside of town before heading out on the Queen Ka'umano Highway, out past Kona Airport, up into the Waikoloa Village area. Now, if there is wind, this will be the part which will challenge the athletes. A right-hand turn at Kauai High, up to the town of Harvey here on the Ventum bike course. 112 miles the distance, and they retrace their steps all the way back into Kailua Kona, where they will then get set for the run course. The last part will be very fast as they go past the Kona Airport with just 6 miles to bike.
Out onto the Hoka One One run course. It's a quick 3.5 miles up and down each way on a Lee Drive, out toward the airport into the very challenging Energy Lab, and retrace their steps down to everyone waiting at the finish line.
2,471 athletes will start the race today. The weather today, record-setting conditions, low temperatures to speak of right now, 72 degrees, 90% humidity, that is way up, and light winds. We're just about set for the men's pro division in the 2018 Ironman World Championship, brought to you by Amazon.
Our professional men lining up, getting ready for their start at 6:35 this morning. The professional women will be lining up and starting 5 minutes later. Everyone's spread out, approximately 45 men on the start line here this year. And as they head out definitely in record-setting conditions, the conditions today, what we would call a slack tide, Greg. The high tide has come in, so there's no real water pushing in or pulling out, so we're looking for some very fast swims.
The record still holds from 2 decades ago with a 46 minutes and 41 seconds. Can it be broken today? We will just have to wait and see. Josh Amberger from Australia, one of the toughest swimmers out there. He is one of the favourites to come out of the water in that first position. There he goes right at the top of the screen, already into a good position on the swim.
He certainly is. Josh Amberger, we expected him to be pushing out. Started somewhere in the middle, which kind of forces all his competitors to take a look around and see where he is. Going to put a little bit of pressure on the pace, but not too much. He would like some company out there as we look at this ever so slight swell. Not much chop on the water, just a little bit of swell, and everybody pushing to stay on his feet, and we'll see what kind of pace that he continues to set today.
A single line just stretching right out there at the moment as Amberger now puts in the hard yards. He's now starting to accelerate away from the competition, bringing it out in a single file. You know then, Paula, it is really going on.
I think that Josh, once he gets to the turnaround boat, is going to take a little glance back and perhaps think that he's dragging one too many people with him. He certainly had made it clear that today he wants to swim. He doesn't want to be stuck out there by himself. He wants to have a few guys around him once he gets out onto that bike course. So right now he's got just enough pressure to keep everyone strung out behind him, with some good favorites in that pack right behind him.
Dennis Chavreau is in there from France. Also Anthony Costas, you can also see in there Timothy O'Donnell and Andy Potts from the USA. Now as they make the turn at the Roka swim course here, they are at 1.2 miles into it at the halfway position. Now we've got that single line out there, and the lead pack has now been splintered.
The lead pack certainly getting splintered here, just the way I think he wanted it. They will be rounding these buoys and then heading back home. As he comes around those Roka swim buoys, he will be eyeing the towers of the King Kamehameha Hotel, and that will be his sighting point as he heads back to the pier. I think he's going to keep the pressure high and keep that group as tight and as small as possible.
Trying to make a gap on the rest of the field here at the moment, because we do have the Uber bikers that will be coming up a little bit later on the 112-mile Venton bike course, but right now it's all about the Roka swim. And as you were saying, the navigating is not too bad here. It's actually pretty easy.
Yeah, the navigating is very easy. Some very good static landmarks for the athletes to key off on the way out. There is a nice point that they can key, land point they can key on, and once they turn around and they come back, the two towers of the King Kamehameha Hotel, if they are coming back in and they sight to the right tower, they will be dead on as they come into the pier.
Two of our favourites in that group of four were Tim Don and Braden Curry, just getting dropped off the back. But back at the lead of the course right now, Josh Amberger from Australia is leading the race, as he has done ever since we got going at 6:35 a.m. There is our lead paddler right now, just navigating the way around the course as well. A little bit easier for the athletes to see when they've got that paddler in front.
Absolutely. It enables him to just, a leader to just slightly lift his head, see the paddler right in front, look ahead down and see the pier, and that way stay on course, keep his head down as much as possible, because every time he lifts his head up a little, it just breaks on the momentum. But as we look at this, definitely picking up the pace. Few guys coming off the back of that lead pack. Swim times looking like they're moving pretty fast today, Greg. These conditions are definitely playing for a faster swim than we've seen in previous years.
Remembering that the course record is 46:41, held by Lars Jorgensen from the United States over 2 decades ago, and now we are seeing that Amberger is really tightening the screws on the rest of the competition. There is Denis Chavreau from France in second place with just 150 metres to go. We can see that our age group men's race got underway just moments ago, and here we go. Amberger now at the end of the Roka swim. Does he have enough to get the record today?
Well, he's pushing hard, but I think he's just missed it. Our record time just haven't gone past, so it's not going to be a record, but certainly one of the fastest swims that we've seen here in the last 5 years. It's been the swim conditions have been rough in previous years. Some of these athletes really struggling to break 50 minutes, but I think we're going to see quite a few sub 50-minute swims, which is new for us this year.
Amberger's pace was enough to only drag 8 athletes through the Roka swim today. There goes Amberger from Australia, Denis Chavreau from France, there's Anthony Costas, Timothy O'Donnell's in there, Andy Potts from the USA are inside of our top 5, going through our bags here. Now the rule is that they have to go into the tent, get changed, run the perimeter of the transition area, grab the bikes and out onto the Venton bike
Yeah,
course.
correct. As we see these athletes going through their T1, grabbing their swim to bike bags, getting changed, and to make this event fair for every athlete that makes the start, everyone is required to run the full perimeter of our transition area, which is pretty large. It's a good 300-meter run around to their bikes, but that way everyone covers the same distance. No one is getting an advantage. So once again, there's no winning and losing in transition, but at this point you don't want to spend an extra 15 or 20 seconds in the transition.
Pro Men leaderboard in the swim today was Amberger from Australia with a 47.38, missing the record by just over a minute. Timothy O'Donnell, Javier Gomez-Noya, Anthony Costas. There we go with Giulio Molinari from Italy, Igor Armarelli from Brazil, Matt Schrabot from the USA, just inside of our top 10. Andrew Starkowitz, one of our favourites on the bike today, now exiting the water.
Yeah, Andrew Starkowitz, definitely a crowd favourite, back here after just a very, very tough year, a terrible accident, making his comeback. I think everyone is looking to him to see how far back he is going to be, because he wants to push to the front, and these athletes at the front want to get out on the course, get themselves in their rhythm, get set, because they know he's coming.
Yeah, he does have the fastest ride in the history of Ironman, 112 miles. That is a 4:01 set by Andrew Starkowitz. Now we go up Palani Road. The first turn is Kuakini Highway as they make a left-hand turn.
Yeah, these athletes have a little bit of a loop around town, which is wonderful for the spectators. They see them go out, they make a little bit of a loop, they come back down Palani and onto the Kuakini Highway, which allows all the fans, the friends, families out here to see these athletes. As we watch Denis Chavreau from France, not surprised to see him out there, a great athlete, all-around athlete. So to see him out setting the pace, I am sure he wants to be up front, set that pace. They want to be prepared before the Uber bikers come by.
The 8 miles in town are now complete. Now we have the USA's Timothy O'Donnell. He's already placed on the podium here at the Ironman World Championship, brought to you by Amazon. Having a great ride right now, but this is our defending champion. He is right up there. He's had a great swim today, and he is now poised in a very good position already. Now we have Andrew Starkowitz from the United States. This guy is the one that everybody looks to at setting the pace out on the bike ride. He is now leading our men's race.
Yeah, he came out of the swim not too far behind and powered his way to the front. He has passed our defending champion, Patrick Lange. One of the officials coming up, having a word with Patrick. Not exactly sure what he's saying, but they look like they were having a bit of a conversation. But now we see the Uber bikers as we expected out there. We can see Andrew Starkowitz, but there he is, Anthony Costas, another French athlete. Also not unusual to see him pushing the pace. Very aero position. Did you see that aero position he has?
The pace is being set early on with Andrew Starkowitz now regaining the lead. Cameron Worth from Australia sitting in second position. There's Cam Worth from Australia just right there. He's doing a very good race, and look at the setup that he has. Now let's talk about Cameron Worth, because he does hail from Australia. He went to the Olympics as a rower, and he rode professionally for almost a decade.
Exactly, and he set the course record last year on the bike. He single-handedly was the one that blew apart the race in 2017, resetting the bike course record. So everyone king of him, king of Andrew Starkowitz. But Anthony Costas not giving up much. He wants to give it a shot and try and hang in here with these Uber bikers.
Costas is not really accustomed to leading the Ironman World Championship, but today may be his day. The Frenchman did very well in Ironman France just earlier on in the year in June, but here is Patrick Lange. He is the defending champion, now making his move around the pack. Now what he has to do, Paula, is he has to make his move, and it has to be completed within 25 seconds. Then he has to move across and back into the line here in the echelon.
Exactly. Patrick Lange definitely following the rules here. The gap is 12 meters between each biker, and you cannot slot in if the gap is not greater than 12 meters. As we watch our pro men, they're heading out, and the winds at the moment, Greg, almost non-existent.
It's going to be a record-setting day for sure, because 6 miles an hour may as well be nothing right here as we look at our 3D map over the big island of Hawaii. There is our leader pro man, and now Sebastian Kinley, and that is not his normal back wheel. The 2014 Ironman World Champion is struggling. He came out of transition area, had a flat tyre. Now he got a new wheel, and it's not working the way that he wanted.
Yeah, Sebastian Kinley stepped up here, had a swim above his usual swim, put himself in ideal setup, and so very disappointing for him to have a mechanical so early in the bike ride.
As Starkowitz now approaches the town of Harvey and the turnaround, Cameron Worth is still sitting in second place, and another Australian, Josh Amberger, in third place. But they have now made the move of the day. They have quite a considerable gap. Worth makes the turn in first place here at Harvey Town. In second place, it's Andrew Starkowitz from the USA. And Amberger, well, he's hungry enough that he might even eat that bottle, but not really, Paula. This is the turnaround, and they're going to hit the aid station right now.
Yes, as they make this turnaround, they hit the aid station, and a few minutes back, here come our leaders. We now see Andy Dreitz and Maurice Clavel, who's here doing his first Kona right behind him. Tim O'Donnell, just that swim of his has set him up well as we look at other top contenders. Igor Amarelli, Braden Curry, our Asia Pacific regional champion, right in the mix there. So these athletes come through, they've picked up their special needs, and one of the most notable things as they start this very fast descent down from Harvey is that the wind, Greg, nothing is bent over. There is no wind blowing out there. It's cool, and I think these athletes are really going to take advantage of that.
To your point, Paula, the trees are usually bending over sideways here. This is the North Kahala region. This is the windiest point of the Big Island. It comes from the windward side right past Mauna Loa and Mauna Kea and sweeps through this region, but not today. This is definitely going to be a record bike ride.
Absolutely. When you think that Cameron Worth set the bike course record last year and we had some normal trade winds blowing, I think everybody's going to take advantage of very, very quick bike splits today. Andrew Starkowitz keeping the pressure on, keeps looking over his shoulder. He is trying to break this apart. He wants to be the singular athlete to set this bike course record, and there's certainly been a lot of chirping going on all week with him and Cameron Worth about this.
Cameron Worth is now ascending up to the top outside of Kauai High, making the right turn onto the Queen Kaumana Highway for the last time. He now has 35 miles to ride. Worth, the Australian, took down the bike course record last year, 4:12.54. That is absolutely smoking hot. He took 3.5 minutes off that record. Now as the temperature climbs, it was 72 in the morning, now it's up to 82. We can see the heat haze on the road. The humidity levels are still right up there today, but we've never seen this race with no wind on the highway.
Look, Rick, I think the swim had quite a bit of impact here, because for the first time in this race, we're not seeing a big, strung-out group. We've got all these different groups along the way. As we look at Tim Don, one of the great stories from our Ironman event this year, recently returned from a fractured neck injury from last year, just before the race.
In 2017, won the Ironman Latin American Championship and set the world record. Then went to Kona, had a horrific bike accident, and now he's back in the race. Back to the action right now, and our defending champion Patrick Lunger is sitting well at the back of the group there. Michael Weiss, he is on fire lately. Just a couple of weeks ago had the fastest run leg in a 70.3 race, and now he is on fire here on the bike ride.
Yes, this chase group has certainly started to come apart. Michael Weiss riding his way up to it as we look at Cameron Worth, not Andrew Stockwitz, Cameron Worth once again rolling into T2 in the lead and in a new bike course record.
There we go with a 4:09. Cameron Worth has just come in now. He gets rid of the bike there to our bike catchers there. Cameron Worth sets off now toward the Hoka on a run course. Now he's off the bike and he still looks pretty good there, Paulie. You can generally see an athlete if they're failing right now, but his posture is perfect.
You know, Cameron Worth came last year just to experience it, to throw down on the bike, reset that bike course record. He has spent the year working on his run split. His marathon has gotten better and better. He has come to this event not only to dominate the bike ride this year, but he is expecting a much better run this year. And if all indications are holding from his year, it will be much better.
With 6 Ironmans under his belt already in 2018, today is going to be his toughest test yet, as now we see Starkowitz just coming into the transition area. Not the bike ride that he wanted today. He wanted to get out there and challenge that bike course record. He's going to have to settle for the second place. Cameron Worth now grabs some aid from the aid stations here as he makes his way out onto the Hoka on a run course. 26 miles to go.
Yeah, and Cameron Worth looking good, knows how to run a steady marathon. Andrew Starkowitz under the bike course record, so theoretically set the bike course record, but he's still in second place. Just, I think he wanted the fastest bike ride, not looking that smooth, but when does he ever look that smooth when he's running? But it looks like it hurt him. That effort was tremendous. It's tremendous to see him back out here, and I think in part that's a victory for him, but it remains to be seen how things go for him on the run. Obviously getting himself together is going to stretch out his muscles. I think that Andrew's goal was the bike ride, but I will say it's great to see him out there, and I certainly hope that he keeps it steady.
Well, we never say that you can win or lose the race in the transition area, but it may take a little bit of, speeding up to get Starkowitz out there and put himself into a better position, because we know what's behind right now, and that is a pack of our competing athletes here in our pro men's division and a lot of our favourites today. Worth now out onto Ali'i Drive. Ali'i Drive has no wind. It is very hot out there, and it's almost like it's an oven effect.
It's totally an oven effect, especially on Ali'i Drive with all the trees. The air is very still as we see Cameron Worth, as he has practiced setting a steady pace. But look at this. The big guns right out of T2 going at each other as we see Braden Curry, one of the toughest competitors coming from multi-sport adventure racing. He's throwing down early right there with Belgium's Bart Arnolds, two of the best runners out of transition.
This beautiful run course here out on Ali'i Drive. They go out 3.5 miles. They will turn around at Pahoehoe Park, and then they will run back in toward town. But Worth making sure that he takes on that very important nutrition at this early part of the run course, Paula. Very important now, as they now have about 23 miles to go. Nutrition really starts to kick in. Now as we go past one of the hills on the outward bound leg, here we see that Patrick Langer has now made his move. He was very patient in the first 6 miles, but now the defending champion is putting down a cracking pace that only a couple of athletes will be able to sustain.
Well, you know, interesting that we see Cameron Worth has spent the year dialing in his effort over the marathon. Each time he did an Ironman, went out, faded. He certainly has dialed in the pace that he knows he can maintain, knowing that he has a pack of Langer, Curry, O'Donnell, and Arnott right behind coming up.
Back in town for the first time on the run course through 5.5 miles. Cameron Worth is still leading. Bart Arno, he's in 5th place. Michael Weiss from Austria, Javier Gomez-Neuer and Maurice Clavel, and Andreas Dreitz from Germany, Anthony Costas and Giulio Molinari. USA's Matt Russell right in there, as well as Joe Skipper. There's David McNamee just coming into the fray. He was 3rd place last year, and look out for McNamee because he has a fast run leg. Braden Curry now is on the shoulder of Patrick Langer, and Timothy O'Donnell from the USA are not giving in without a good fight.
Well, I must say, I think this is that was the run leg we've all been waiting for. 3 of the top runners in the sport going head-to-head down a lead drive. It was like a heavyweight boxing match going up and down. Each one surging to the front and another one coming through. None of them willing to give up. But Patrick Langer has the experience as he now starts to close the gap on Cameron Worth. Cameron knowing that he's coming, and to his credit, Cameron has stayed out there in the lead and continues to look good, continues to look steady. What sportsmanship, what respect. It's wonderful. Look at the smile on their faces. A light-hearted moment in the heat of battle out there on the Queen K Highway.
Patrick Langer from Germany at 8 miles. He gets the lead of the race. Braden Curry and Timothy O'Donnell are fighting out in the top 5 right now. So at 13 miles, Patrick Langer leads. Bart Arnott from Belgium. New Zealand's Braden Curry is in there with a strong race so far. Cameron Worth is hanging in there. Timothy O'Donnell is right there. Javier Gomez-Neuer, one of our early favourites, is right there. And here comes McNamee from Scotland. He is really putting in a surge.
Yeah, with the reports coming in that David McNamee, our podium finisher from last year, coming back, starting to push toward the front, but still, and here it is, they continue to go round and round, pushing one another. Tim O'Donnell and Braden Curry, neither one of them wants to blink here. But in the meantime, Bart Arnott, known for his tremendous marathoning, putting in the surge as we watch these guys continue to go back and forth.
Accelerating back and forth, but not for Patrick Langer. He's been the most consistent runner out there today. We know that he holds the course record here at a 2:39. Today he's on pace to do just over 2 hours and 40 minutes, and now we have to start talking about the overall course record as we see Belgium's Bart Arnott. He's also running very, very well. He's on a pace that will break the other course record from the other year, and now we see that he is picking up the pace and maybe coming back at Patrick Langer a little bit.
Well, Bart Arnott has always done well coming off of a tremendous bike split and coming into the run and using the strength of his run to come through when the going gets tough and it's anybody else in front of him starts to fade. We have watched him in the top 10 in Kona, always pushing hard towards the end of the marathon, so not surprising to see him. But Patrick Langer seems to have made the definitive move on these athletes on the run course, but being closely contested. So he is certainly being challenged. They're not making it easy for them as these athletes go through the professional fluid station. This station set up for the athletes to put their own fluids that they can pick up themselves.
With just a few kilometres to go, Patrick Langer now from Germany has a sniff of the finish line. The Amazon Arch, that is what they're all chasing after today. Belgium's Bart Arnott right now is still sitting in 2nd place, trying and struggling to make a move to get up into that 1st place and challenge Langer. But now the Flying Scotsman, look at David McNamee. He's come all the way into 3rd place, all the way down from 15th off the bike.
Yeah, David McNamee has had a challenging year, and as we look at him running his way back to the podium, wonderful. The course record of 8:01:40 suddenly looks in dire straits today. Those bike course conditions, the good swim conditions have accumulated, and watching Patrick Langer produce his normal marathon. Now the course record looks to be potentially shattered, Greg.
The magical 8-hour barrier can be shattered here at the World Championship, but it needs that perfect day as Team Langer wait at the finish line for their son, for their favourite racer out there today. Patrick is certainly on the way to that Amazon Arch and the finish line here at the 2018 Ironman World Championship, brought to you by Amazon. Now on Palani Road with just 1 mile to go. Langer has a 3.5 minute lead.
Yeah, Langer came out of the Natural Energy Lab, made that final 10K push for home, and his pace suddenly jumped. He started to run 5-10 seconds a mile faster than the rest of the field, and he has stamped his dominance onto the marathon as he is known for at this event. But Bart Arnott's continuing to be steady behind him.
Bart Arnolds is running out of real estate right now and just slowing a little bit. We can see now that Luc van Leer was one of our former course record holders. That is Bart Arnold's coach, and the Belgian athletes, the German athletes and the Australian athletes have dominated the Ironman World Championship over the last 15 years. But now it is certainly going to be Patrick Langer. He is the defending champion. He's going to make it 2 from 2 today, and it was a brilliant run, a brilliant bike ride and a great swim that set everything up today for his victory.
Patrick Langer, our course record holder from last year. I bet he didn't think that he was going to be able to come back and set a level. This performance today is going to be, I think, is going to be a day, 40 years of dreams. This was a dream day for this athlete. I have a feeling that this is a mark that's going to stand for a long time, Greg. What a moment for this young man.
Patrick Langer smashes the 2017 Ironman World Championship course record, today lowering that standard by 9 minutes from an 8:01 to a 7:52, and for the very first time under 8 hours at the World Championship. He set it up with a great swim today, a great bike, and an even better run with a 2:41 to finish things off, and crowned for the second year in a row. Patrick Langer, you are the world champion.
You are amazing. You put together a swim, bike, run today, unlike any race you've ever done before. The complete Ironman, and you own the Ironman Championship course record.
Amazing. Amazing. But I promised myself when I break the course record, Julia, please listen. Julia! So
You promised yourself what if you broke course record?
yeah, I think I have to go there. Julia, do you want to marry me?
She said yes!
Patrick Langer has just done the Ironman, and he's just done something that takes a lot more energy, and that is a proposal at the finish line. Paul and Yubi Fraser, you don't see that every day of the week.
You don't see that every day of the week. In fact, this is definitely the first time we've seen the champion come across the line where it's a moment about him, but he's so in love that he is making a marriage proposal. As we look at Bart Arnolds, this is definitely the race of his life. This day set up beautifully for him. This Belgian athlete has had many years of success. It's wonderful to see that so rewarded for him today.
Bart Arnolds from Belgium also breaking the former course record today and going under 8 hours at the Ironman World Championship. Brought to you by Amazon right here on the big island of Hawaii. Yes, definitely the best race of his career. And it was David McNamee, the Scotsman, second year in a row in third place.
David McNamee is just, you see it, the redemption. He has struggled a little during the year, but he is showing that he belongs on the podium. 2 years in a row on the podium, 2 years with two of the same guys on the podium, Greg.
Patrick Langer wins for the second year in a row at a 7:52.38. Bart Arnolds in second place, and David McNamee round out the podium. Timothy O'Donnell, Braden Curry in the top 5. Matt Russell, Joe Skipper, Andy Potts, Cameron Worth, our early leader on the run, finishing in 9th place, and Michael Weiss from Austria at an 8:11.03 for your top 10. As we see celebration right now here at the Ironman World Championship, brought to you by Amazon. Patrick Langer just about to shake that bottle and celebrate well into